So as I sit here today with my breakfast that is pasture raised eggs that locally, I mean, they're from a person's backyard and they're just chickens hanging around. And then the pasture raised beef from Sprouts. Um, as I sit here today, I feel a little bit weird. I'm treating my foot fungus right now, like my toenail fungus, which I haven't done in a long time because I was like, well, it'll get better on its own, and it hasn't really got better on its own. And I know that that could just be systematic. I know it is systematic because if you have fungal overgrowth down there, then there's issues in other parts of the body. But so I'm treating that with some tea tree oil, and it just has this weird effect on me. Like, I don't know if it's like some kind of like, because I know that my body's not exactly right after raw veganism. It hasn't been, and this video today is just pretty much about how the danger of the dogma, the diet dogma, any kind of dogmatic, just, you just adhere to it, just not even questioning it and not straying from it religiously. I mean, that's kind of dangerous. For your own ideology could be the death of you. Um, for me, it's like anytime I try to treat the fungal overgrowth, it just makes me feel weird. So then I don't. But then I know that if I eat certain foods like sweets, I'll get itchy. And like, I don't mean like sweets like freaking processed stuff. I mean fruit. Like if I eat honey, like raw honey, if I eat, stuff like that, it will make me like itchy. And some of it will just bring my energy down, which it didn't do that before raw vegan. And all I know is that at first I felt great on raw vegan, and then I just didn't at all. Like after like 6 months, um, 6 or 7 months, it's like I just hit something. Like I hit, like the plateau, and it just did not feel good at all anymore. Like whenever I'd eat, I'd just be tired after, like just because all I'd have is like fruit, and then for dinner I'd just have salad. So I just kept doing different variations of raw vegan because I was like, well, I'm not doing it right, or I have a parasite, or I do all these different cleanses and enemas and colonics, and the amount of money that I spent, I don't even know where I got this money from. Well, actually, my mom will help me with the colonics. Okay, but it's stupid because the amount of money that went into trying to get me to be better when I just didn't want to admit that I needed to change my diet because I felt so good at first on the diet. It like felt amazing. So I was like, I can't be the diet because I felt so good at it. And something else must be. And then I added meat back in and I felt so much better. Um, but yeah, I mean, for me, I was vegetarian for 10 years, like since I was 13, and then vegan for 5 years. So like in all without meat for 10 years, vegetarian for 5, vegan for 5, and part of the vegan was raw vegan. And the only time I really ran into, I mean, I never had that great of energy, but I didn't really know the difference because I was so young when I started being vegetarian, and then like I ate that healthy before that. But I can just say that right now it's like that if you are suffering and you're vegan, introduce meat back into your diet. I don't. It doesn't matter because you don't feel good. If you don't feel good and you're without meat, if you're out from foods, if you weren't into the dogmatic way of it, then you would easily reintroduce some foods just to experiment and see how you feel. And I know it's not easy. It's not easy at all. But I'm just another voice saying that to like see how your body responds without just endless suffering, because I suffered for like 2 years before I introduced it, and I only reintroduced it because I saw someone who was living vegan for 20 plus years and who looked awful and had an awful memory, and I already wasn't feeling good, so I was like, let me introduce some stuff. And it was just like crickets and oysters at first, and then it was just seafood for a while, and then I introduced eggs, and then I introduced pasture raised bacon, and very slowly. And I tried beef and I didn't like it at first, so then I waited months on that, and then I reintroduced beef, and now I'm eating that. Like, it's been a long process over the last year of reintroducing foods, and still, it's like with. I know that I'm not exactly back where I should be, but I'm way better than I was. But treating this toenail fungus, is just reminding me that there's still something systematically, the overgrowth or something that occurred when I was raw vegan that is still needing to be addressed. So don't hold back on treating yourself the best that you can and experimenting and breaking out of dogmatic beliefs in every way. But through diet is one that definitely people adhere to a lot. But in every way, all of the ways of just not of not benefiting yourself. So I just would hope that someone who sees this perhaps or any other video that explains people's experience would have an open mind, and I didn't at all, and it took me years, and that was how it was meant to be for me. But so this is just me today saying to experiment with different foods, and if you weren't so locked into the dogma, then you would be able to. But since you are locked into the dogma, then you refuse to. I was there. And my health today could be better, but it's going to be even better. It's just going to keep getting better because I'm breaking down what was and I'm building up new. And you can do the same for yours. I just know that Joe Dispenza is pretty cool to listen to, and he talks about the mindset, and I just know I am feeling better like every day working out. I just know that you just got to keep building yourself.